there are actually military individuals or generals that have actually, in recent months, talked about, no, we're not going to be engaged in anything like that. So it's not totally a ridiculous premise to even talk about at this point, I guess. So it's I think the dangers in the world are increasing due to the instability that we're seeing in China on the financial side of things.
Yeah, look at the Chinese wolf warriors rhetoric coming out of their global tabloids like the Global Times and Xinhua and the People's Daily. They've minced no words about what they will do if the U.S. engages more diplomatically with Taiwan, or if the Taiwanese government arms itself. Let's just say if they believe they become more belligerent. China has already flown fighters, nuclear-armed bombers over Taiwan in the last 2 months. So everything's heating up on the militaristic side as well. The question is, again, what will the West do about it? We didn't do anything about Hong Kong.
Yeah. Okay, Kyle. We got to run it to be continued. Good to have you on today, and we'll hopefully have you on again soon, and maybe things will. I'm hoping for improvement in some way in all these things. But thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right.
We just got some new housing data. Diana Olick joins us with more on that. Diana, what can you tell us?
Well, it's a headline beat for both housing starts and building permits. Permits up 6% month to month, starts up basically 4%. But it was driven entirely by multifamily. And that's not to say that we don't need more multifamily rental housing, but honing in on single family, that's where we see the disappointment. We actually saw single family permits flat month to month, down from a year ago. And we saw single family starts also coming down. And that's where we need to see more construction. One more important note in this report is that the number of housing units that have been permitted but not yet started is up 50% from a year ago. And that is, again, due to all these supply chain issues. We saw it in the earnings release yesterday from Lennar, which missed on revenue for the first time in 2.5 years because they couldn't get the homes closed. They also lowered guidance. D.R. Horton came out yesterday, also lowering guidance, as Pulte did a couple of weeks ago. So again, the builders, the single-family home builders, having a lot of trouble with supply chain issues, and that is slowing down their production when we need these homes. But they are still able to raise prices. But again, you are seeing that slowdown. So permits, again, for single-family, not what we wanted to see. Multifamily, though, driving these numbers higher. Back to you guys.
Diana, thank you very much. Andrew?
Coming up next, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi is going to join us live. He's right there. It's an interview you do not want to miss on the company's just updated path to profitability. They announced it this morning, and we're going to talk to the man in charge in just a moment. You're watching Squawk on CNBC.
Good morning, traders, and happy Taco Tuesday. I don't even care about the market. I'm just excited that it's Taco freaking Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a giveaway today. Whoever makes the most amount of money in chat, you guys will get a free box of these beautiful, succulent, old El Paso stand-in stuff. Guys, stand-in stuff. Taco kit, right? You'll get some tacos. All right, it's not okay, it's just the shells. All right, it's just the shells. All right, I forgot. There's no lettuce, there's no cheese, there's no meat. So it says it's a kit. But what kind of kit is this without the meat and the cheese? So guys, whoever makes the most amount of profit today, you're going to get yourself a free box of these beautiful, succulent, delicious Old El Paso nacho cheese flavored taco shells. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's make it happen, traders. The winner today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ship out this $1.99 box of fucking tacos. What's going on, team? Good morning and happy, we're going to call it Money Tuesday, right? Money Tuesday, because yesterday wasn't really a Money Monday, was it? It wasn't really a Money Monday, right? The market was kind of slow. The market was kind of choppy. Not a lot of amazing opportunity, right? The first maybe 15, 30 minutes, there was some good opportunity, but after that, chop, 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 chop. Chris, my man, I need you to make us a song for chat, right? We talked about this a year ago, right? Chop City, chop, chop City, 10, 10. We got to figure something out. We'll get some lyrics down. We'll script it out. We'll get the beat. We'll mesh it together. We got to do it. So when it's choppy, we can just play that, right? We'll just play it. So we're going to call today Money Tuesday, right? It's Money Tuesday. I'm fired up. There's definitely some better opportunity in the market, right? We got HLBZ with an Amazon partnership. This stock right now up 162%. I'm sorry, 116%. Dyslexia. All right, HLBZ up 116%, trading some good volume over the last probably 30 minutes since that press release dropped. Actually, about 15, 20 minutes. And again, reporting a partnership with Amazon, right? With Amazon. So again, that's some pretty good news there on HLBZ. HLBZ, if I'm not mistaken, it is a lower float stock. It's not showing here on Trade Ideas. But again, in just the last about 15 to 20 minutes, right? HLBZ has gained about 2.3 million shares traded, right? On average, this stock trades 3.4 million shares, right? And again, it's up 126%. How do we know how high this stock can go, right? How do we know how high the stock could go, guys, right? It's a new all-time highs. We've never been to 36 bucks before. So how do we gauge where some overhead targets are besides natural levels of support and resistance, like whole dollars, right? 28, 29, 30, 35, 40, 50, right? How do we gauge where the stock could go? Well, simply, we use Fibonacci extensions, right? So I was able to gauge where this stock could go, and these extensions so far have been honored. Look at that 100% extension. Spiking high, pulled back, broke above. 138.2 extension. That's where we topped out, right around 36.36. How did we know that was going to be a level to get out of the trade, right? We're using Fibonacci extensions to gauge how high this stock could go. So let's go ahead and do a quick little lesson, right? 2-3 minutes on how we draw Fibonacci extensions. Well, right off the bat, it's kind of hard to do this on the daily chart, right? It's very hard to figure out where that first pop was, where the retracement low was, right? To where we can run those extensions. So what do we need to do? Maybe go into like a 1 hour chart. There we go. Look at that. Let's go into a 1 hour chart. And what we can see here is we had an initial move on Friday. We had a nice pullback right into the OTE zone. If you take a Fibonacci retracement, right, you can see that we dipped right into this OTE zone before seeing the news come out. Shockingly, it was a coincidence, right? Yeah, okay. And we got a nice big pop. So we see that we had an initial pop to the upside. We retraced, followed by another move up. So how do we know how high HLBZ could go? Well, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a Fibonacci extension, right? Take it off where the move started, right there. Run it up to that first spiking high, right there. And then drag it back on down to that retracement low, right there. And this is how we're going to be able to tell where this stock could go. Why is it not showing up on the intraday chart? Let me pull it over just a little bit. So maybe we got to come over this way. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There it is. Right on. So that's how we're able to gauge where this stock could go. Why did it come right up to that 100% extension, right? Because that's a level that traders utilize to gauge overhead targets of resistance, especially when we're in new all-time highs. Why did it come up to 36.36, right to this 138.2 fib extension? Because again, traders are utilizing the extension here because we're in new all-time highs to see how high the stock could go. So what's going to be our next target on HLBZ? It's going to be this 161.8 fib extension right around $40. Also natural, right? Resistance as well. And then if we break over that $40 level, we could see it as high as $46.08 based on that top extension. And that's a 200% extension, right? So right now we know we have these pre-market highs as resistance. Next target's 40, target after that 46, and we're actually trying to hold above that $30 natural support, and that's also a Fibonacci extension as well. So look at how we're able to gauge, where support and resistance is, right? Not just utilizing natural levels, but also be able to utilize this extension, and this extension is lining up with these natural levels as well, and we can see the price action reacting nicely around these key technical levels. So with that being said, it's pretty safe to say we can continue to use these extensions to gauge where this stock could go, okay? So with that being said, we had a nice big rip to the upside, pulling back to that $30 level of support, natural support, right? Also happens to be that 100% extension, right? From that extension we just drew. So right now we could say we have some okay support right around that $30 level and that 100% extension. And the other level of support is going to be back down at those spiking highs, right? That 25.78 right here, 25.78 also lines up with that 78.6 extension as well. So we can see that this extension lines up beautifully with natural levels of support and resistance and prior levels of resistance, new support, like that 25.78 all-time high from Friday. So HLBZ, I like it. I like the news. I like the volume. Again, it has a lot of potential to the upside. I see that these technical levels are being respected really, really nicely, which makes me very confident that if I'm in this trade, I have some confidence knowing that these levels can definitely hold on up and again, have a high probability setup behind us. So again, HLBZ, we know what's going on. We know what we're looking for. Now we just got to wait for that setup, guys, right? We got to wait for the stock to provide us with an opportunity, with a setup that is a high probability setup to where we can attack and make some good profits, guys. So again, HLBZ, partnership with Amazon. I do believe it's a lower float stock. Currently trading 3 million shares. On average, it trades 3.4, and it's currently up 125%. Right now, we do have support at $30. Below $30, support is back down at 25.78. Resistance right now, up these highs right around 36 bucks, 36.36. Anything over those pre-market highs, we do have room to 40. Anything over 40, we have room to 46. And anything over 46, we would have room to $50 here on HLBZ. Number one stock we're watching right out of the gate. Number one stock we're watching right now here in pre-market is going to be HLBZ, guys. All right, that is the number one stock. Moving on, we have NNVC. Right, NNVC this morning dropping a press release. Not a bad press release either. So they reported significant advantages gained by remdesivir encapsulation within its lead COVID-19 candidate, thus showing a potential pan-coronavirus cure. That's actually some pretty good news there on NNVC. And NNVC reacted really nice off that news. I was able to take like 20, 30 cents out of NNVC through the high a day up into the 560s, 570s. I think I had like 200 shares. I grabbed a whopping, probably 10, 13 cents out of it total. Nothing too crazy, guys. Again, on the small account, a base hit's a base hit. 20 cents is 20 cents. But again, I was able to capitalize on a little bit of that NNVC move from this morning. So again, we have COVID-19 related news. NNVC is up 38%. On average, it trades just shy of 1 million shares. Right now, we're trading 13 million shares on NNVC. And it's a low float stock as well, coming in at 10 million. So again, we have the news. low float play, good volume. It's holding up pretty nice here in pre-market. We do have some nice opportunity to the upside here on NNVC. So we had a slight little uptrend that is not valid anymore. And we can see that we actually have a little bit of this downtrend forming here in pre-market off those highs, right? So right now, the only thing that we know is we have support at 481. Support's at $4.81. However, we could see $5 natural support hold on up as well. So again, we do have support from pre-market down at 480, $5 natural support, and we do have a little bit of resistance back off that prior pre-market high right around 538. But the main level of resistance is right back up towards those pre-market highs of 574. So right now, I would say we have some okay support between 480 to $5. We do have this downtrend that we could definitely set up and look to break for that next leg up back into those pre-market highs of 574. Anything over $5.74, you do have resistance nearby at 585 coming right from the daily chart. Anything over 585, you may see a little bit of struggling around 6 just because it's natural resistance, but the main level of resistance here on NNVC is going to be up towards around 626, all right? So anything over 585 and 6, we do have some nice room to 626 and then 663 and then $7 here on NNVC. Again, right now, we have support back down between 480 and $5. We have a really nice downtrend starting to form here in pre-market. If we get our setup, right, the double bottom, the higher low into the fourth point, and we see volume move in, we could definitely look to jump in this trade. Stops are nice and tight, and we know we have some room back up to those pre-market highs. Anything over those pre-market highs, 585, $6, 626, 663, and then potentially $7 there on NNVC. So again, we got some good news. We have great volume. It's a low float stock. There's definitely some activity. There's definitely some attention with NNVC. Not as much attention as what's over on HLBZ, but NNVC is the runner-up. This is going to be the second stock we're watching. Number 2 that we're watching today is going to be NNVC, guys, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. We have VRDN, right? VRDN gapping up this morning 18%, but look at that chart. Look at that beautiful pre-market chart. No, I hope you guys sense the sarcasm. It's not clean. It's not consistent, right? It's just sideways. It got a quick little pop. It's fading. Again, why is this stock not moving, guys? Why is VRDN not moving? Well, it's simply because it doesn't have the attention, right? HLBZ has the best press release this morning. HLBZ is up 129%, right? Up 129% in the last 30 minutes, trading 3.3 million shares in the last 30 minutes. It's clear to identify that, hey, HLBZ probably has 70% of the focus. 70% of the traders in the market are on and watching HLBZ. That's why some of these other stocks aren't moving on up and not doing anything. They're just stagnant. They're sitting sideways. And honestly, guys, these stocks that are stagnant, sitting sideways, they may pop out of the gate. They may try to get something going. But as long as HLBZ and NNVC retains the focus and the attention from traders in the market, these stocks really won't rip and run, right? Unless we see HLBZ dump. Until we see NNVC dump, we probably won't see some of these other stocks get a lot of hype behind them. So again, our job is to identify where the rest of the traders are, because that's where the volume is going to be. And when we have volume, right, there's opportunity. And when there's opportunity, we can make profit. The last thing that we want to be doing is sitting here just watching BKYI while, you know, HLBZ is ripping the $50 and we're missing that because we're just focused on BKYI for some reason, right? This is not where the focus is. Does it have news? Absolutely. BKYI dropped a press release this morning in regards to a new partnership. That was some pretty decent news, right? BKYI is a 7 million in float stock. BKYI is trading 4 million shares. On average, it trades 70,000. So you would think, wow, Josh, partnership news, good news. Great volume, right? Low float. Why is this not ripping and running? Why is it not ripping and running? It simply doesn't have the attention, right? It doesn't have the focus. There's no traders really actively looking at BKYI because Everybody else is on HLBZ, right? The remainder of the traders are watching NNVC. But does that mean we should discredit these trades? Does that mean we should discredit and not put these on our watch list? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't put too much focus into those right now. Put more focus on breaking down NNVC and doing your due diligence and your technicals to the T, right? Really fine-tuning everything. Do the same thing with HLBZ. And if we see these two stocks fade and fall, and then we see BKYI get some action, then let's step in, do our due diligence, see if there's opportunity, and then attack. But I wouldn't really put too much focus right now at the start of the day on stocks like BKYI. Yes, there's news, right? Yes, it's trading good volume. It's a low float stock, but it doesn't have the focus. And until it gets the focus, it's probably not going to do anything substantial like NNVC can do, like HLBZ can do. So BKYI has news. It's a back burner play. ANY has news. It is gapping up in pre-markets. Another back burner play just in case we see some of these other stocks start fading on off. APRE, another stock with news from last night, right? Another back burner play presenting data, positive data from their phase 2 trial in advanced solid tumors, right? So they're presenting data from their phase 2 trial there on APRE. That's why this stock got some nice action last night. That's why the stock is gapping up 30 cents, 20 cents, right here in pre-market. But again, look at the chart. You can clearly tell there is not a lot of activity here. There's not a lot of attention right now with APRE, but we should still keep it on our watch list as a back burner play just in case it does start moving on up if HLBZ fades and falls, if NNVC starts fading and falling as well. So again, the top 2 stocks that I'm watching, guys, I'm watching NNVC right out of the gate. I'm watching HLBZ right out of the gate. Back burner plays, right? Stocks that could have some potential, but right now doesn't need 100% of our focus. BKYI, ANY, another back burner play, and then APRE. Okay, now don't get me wrong, there's other ones like VRDN that I don't have on my watch list, right? I do not have VRDN right now on my watch list because it's not doing anything. RWLK, right? I don't have this on my watch list because it's not doing anything right now, right? So even QS, right? QS is getting some action, but it's a 200 million float stock, right? When the market opens on QS, it's going to be a slow and steady grinder, right? It's 200 million in float. It's a $23 stock. All right, that float is definitely going to impact how much this can move. Now, the float doesn't really impact in pre-market, but when that market opens, you're going to see that it's a 200 million in float stock. So this is going to be a slow and steady mover. Do you want a stock that can rip $2, $3, $4 at a time? Go look at HLBZ. Do you want a stock that could rip 50 cents to $1 at a time? Go look at NNVC. Do you want a slow, steady 10, 15, 20 cent mover little by little? Go ahead and look at QS, right? So QS, they filed a Form 8K signing deal with the second top 10 auto original equipment manufacturers, right? So again, an 8K filing, and they're signing a deal with the second top 10 auto original equipment manufacturers. So again, QS has some good news. QS just dropped that press release about 20 minutes ago. So far trading 1.1 million shares. On average, it trades 8 million shares, and it's a large float stock. But it could definitely be that stock that you like because it's slow and steady. I tell you what, I want those quick in and out trades. Nail the entry, couple dollars to the upside, in and out, call it a day, right? Versus sitting here and watching the trade over 30 minutes to an hour. That's just me. I like those volatile stocks, those low float stocks, the ones that can rip, you know, very, very quickly for those quick, easy profits. Okay, so we do have QS. We need some more volume around QS, but the press release was just dropped about 20 minutes ago, so there's still a lot of opportunity for QS to surpass the average volume, and it again is going to be more of a slower and steadier trade today, especially when that market opens, because again, it's 193 million in float. All right, guys. So again, QS, you can add it to your watch list. There's news. We need a little bit more volume, large float stock. It's moving up very, very nice here in pre-market, currently up 12%. And again, it could be that nice, slow, steady play for you guys today. But again, the stocks that I'm watching, if you guys are just now tuning in, I'm watching HLBZ. I think HLBZ has a lot of great potential, guys, right? Watching NNVC, I still think NNVC has a lot of great potential, all right? Followed by some back burner plays that have reasons to be moving on up today, right? We're watching BKYI. We're watching QS, right? We're going to be watching ANY. My TD jacked up again. That was not a ticker. Was it VRDL, VLDR? VRDN. All right, it was VRDN, my bad. VRDN. TD quits removing my tickers from my watches. That'd be great. And we'll still watch VRDN, right? We'll still just keep an eye on VRDN, see if the stock gets any kind of hype and activity towards it, all right? But to start our day, HLBZ, and we're going to be watching NNVC as well. Now, CRVS. CRVS doesn't look bad at all, right? I like CRVS. Couple reasons why, right? Nice big move on Friday. Nice retracement yesterday back down to $5. Nice big U-shape right back into that level of resistance. Building consistent higher lows. We do have a slight uptrend on this trade as well. So again, we do have $5 bottom support, but we're actually putting in a nice higher low above 550 here in pre-market. What kind of pattern do you think we could see on CRVS? There's a couple different patterns we could potentially see on CRVS, right? We could possibly see a simple cup and handle formation, right? Right up to those highs, nice U-shape, higher low U-shape, get the break, maybe a little cup and handle. If we don't break, right, but we still build those higher lows and continue to hit that flat resistance, we could eventually see the stock break to the upside out of an ascending triangle formation. Again, anything could happen. We could crack the trend line. We could crack $5. It could dump to $4, right? But as long as this stock holds on up and we see it holding up and we see it respecting these technicals and we see it getting more higher probability. Right now it's 50-50, but now we start saying, okay, now this is setting up good. We have the volume. Price action looks great, right? Now we have 60-40 odds, 70-30 odds, right? And maybe CRVS really gets us to that point where it's like, hey, here's a great opportunity for a great trade. So I do want to keep CRVS on watch. Anything could happen. It could completely crack, fade, and fall and completely those technicals, right? And it'd be null and void. We wouldn't really be focused on it. But right now at this point in time, 907 in the market, right? So far, so good. It's respecting the technicals. It's holding on up. I do want to keep CRVS on high watch for a possible break over those highs. And we do have some room to $8. Support right now is $5. All right, so I definitely want to be watching CRVS. LCID, we are going to watch LCID today above that 2423. 2423 was a resistance level from yesterday that we broke above in post-market, and we've held it 3 times so far since we broke above. So as long as LCID can stay above that 2420, 2425 level, we do have room back up to $25, right? I mean, it's not a lot. It's like 60, 70 cents, but with options, it could definitely be something, right? And anything over $25, we do have room next here on LCID up towards around 25.21. If we crack below that 24.20, 24.25 level on LCID, your next level of support on LCID is going to be back down towards around $23.52, right? So right now you have support at 24.23. Crack below 24.23, it has room to fall all the way back down to 23.52. Maybe you want to grab some puts. If we stay above 24.23 and it's looking great, you do have potential back up towards around 24.95 pre-market highs. Anything over that level, we could definitely see a quick pop up towards around 25.21 there on LCID. All right, so I do want to watch LCID. And I don't want to forget about SDC, Small Beep Club, right? The Small Bleep Club. No, the Smile Direct Club, all right? SDC, why do we even want to keep it on watch? The technicals right now don't look all that great, right? The technicals right now just don't look great. It's not really doing anything, right? It moved up yesterday in pre-market, closed down towards around, 650, not doing too much so far, right? Why do we want to keep it on watch? Anybody know? Does anybody know why we want to keep SDC on watch? While I get an answer, Chris, TikTok Mom, Angel, H. Wads, KC, Yared, Cole, what's up? What's good? You know, it was on watch for the moving average squeeze from last week, and we could see some continuation with SDC out of that squeeze formation. So I like the answer. Not the answer I was looking for, but I'll take it because that is a valid answer, right? Continuation out of that moving average squeeze formation. Short squeeze, Reddit, the hype, everybody's talking about it. This stock could be the next AMC. This stock could be the next GameStop. This stock could be the next stock to go to the moon and make you a millionaire. When people talk about this could be the next stock to make you a millionaire, what happens? Everybody runs into it. Everybody's like, all right, this is the one that's going to make me a millionaire. Diamond hands, bro. Apes hold stock forever. So that right there, just the fact that it's being hyped up, just the fact that people are talking about it, this could be the next stock to make you rich, that's going to bring in a lot of, unfortunately, unexperienced traders just buying this, hoping that it goes to $100 and they get rich, not looking at consistent trades do better than 1 or 2 home runs. You know what I mean? So again, that's besides the point. Joshy's not ranting today. He's not ranting this morning. So the simple fact that there's a lot of hype around SDC, the short float percentage is 40%. More and more TikTokers and YouTubers are talking about SDC, right? It's all through Reddit. It's one of the most talked about stocks on the Wall Street Bet forum, all right? SDC has a lot of attention. While SDC has attention, there is going to be a lot of opportunity for movement to the upside. Right now, there's not a lot to go off of. Right now, it's not a great looking chart, right? All we know is it has support back down around $6. We have resistance at 682, 735, right? Then you have some resistance back up towards around 786, right? Right around like that 786 level. Right around there, and then back up towards around 822. So again, we just know our support and resistance levels, but if we start to see some volume move in, right, breaking and holding these levels, looking good, setting up, let's definitely keep this one on watch and take advantage of the opportunity, because with this much hype circulating, SDC, it could definitely get up towards around 950, right? If it ever breaks that 200 SMA, you could see 10, 11, 1175, 12. I mean, this stock could move, right? So I definitely think we should keep it on watch until that hype goes away, until the hype fades. And right now, the hype hasn't faded. If anything, there's more and more and more people talking about SDC. So add it to your watch list. We're watching it for that reason alone. Right now, there's no fresh news. Right now, there's no great daily technical setup. Right now, there's no great intraday setup. We're just watching it because there is a lot of hype around SDC, okay? A couple other back burner plays, guys, that I want to keep on watch. I do want to watch LPTX. All right, LPTX has been a mover over the last 3 to 4 days. LPTX is starting to form a cup and handle formation, right? We can see that big pop up to 3. Nice pullback. Big leg up yesterday, back up to 3. Starting to get the higher low. That's a 50% fib. I can see it. I don't need to draw it, but I can see that's a beautiful fib retracement into prior resistance, new support. Could it double top and crack? Absolutely. But if it does start moving up through 3, we could see this cup and handle formation play on out, and we could see the next leg up here on LPTX. The only bad thing with LPTX is there is a lot of overhead resistance. You have resistance at 317. You have resistance at 325. You have resistance at 350. But that's where it gets fun, because over 350, there's a lot of room to $4. All right, so I do want to keep LPTX as another back burner trade. Again, we do have a decent little chart formation here on LPTX, a possible cup and handle over $3, room to 317, 325, 350, and possibly $4 if LPTX gets that break, gets that volume, gets that hype. We do have some potential with LPTX, guys, right? So LPTX, that's why we're watching that one for today as well. I would talk about ARQQ. I'm not going to. I think we have better opportunity out there. We've already talked about CRVS. KPLT still may be in play. 4-hour moving average squeeze formation here on the daily. As long as KPLT is staying above 587, we can continue to consolidate, eventually get that break over the 50 SMA, and start to squeeze 4-hour swing trades. So KPLT is still in play, and KPLT is still on watch for the swing trade. Again, a possible moving average squeeze formation still forming. And the other one is REAL, right? REAL is another stock that could definitely continue to consolidate between these two moving averages and get tighter and tighter and tighter and squeeze to fill that gap up towards around $16.13. So still a couple stocks on our back burner swing trade list that still have potential. KPLT, REAL, right? Those are the only two stocks that I'm really focused on today and this week for these potential swing trades, okay? But just to recap, back burner chart setups, right? CRVS, back burner chart setup, we just talked about it. LPTX, another back burner chart setup, all right, that we're going to keep on watch to see if it gets some hype, okay? Other back burner plays, right? VRDN, news. QS has news. BKYI has news. ANY has news. But the stocks that I think we should really be focused on right at the start of the day. NNVC, $5 support. Below $5, room to 480. Want to see if we can set up for a possible downtrend break strategy for the next leg up on NNVC. And then lastly, the number one stock right now, HLBZ. HLBZ is the number one stock. So let's go ahead and add that to the bottom of the watch list. HLBZ. Let's go ahead and add NNVC to the bottom of our watch list as well. NNVC. And those are going to be the top two stocks I think we should be focused on. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY. Why? Makes me think about Afro Man. When I said why, the Hawaii. So when looking at the daily chart, you just see a big gap, right? Nasty gap down. Little bit of a doji, little bit of a hammer doji formation yesterday. We could see it bounce back up and close this gap, right? We could see it back up towards around 441 to close the daily gap. But let's do a little bit more, right? Let's dial into this. Let's dive into the technicals a little bit more. Let's go into a 1-hour chart, right? Or actually, let's go into a 4-hour chart, okay? So right here, actually, let's do a 1 hour. Let's do a 1-hour chart. So right off the bat, what did I do? I connected a downtrend off those highs, right? So I just ran a downtrend off those highs. And the other thing that I did is I identified where the move started, right? When did we see this nasty leg down, this just big dump to the downside? Well, that was the high before the dump, and this was the low. So I grabbed a Fibonacci extension and ran it from this high down to this low to get an idea of where this could bounce back to before getting the next leg down if we're going to continue to see the S&P drop in the overall markets drop. So right off the bat, do we have at least one of these levels that have been honored, right? That's what we want to do, is at least identify one level that's been honored to solidify the second level could be honored. Well, right off the bat, it was, right? That 78.6 was honored, guys. Right here. You can see it on the 1-hour chart. Let's go ahead and mark that level up and zoom in. We broke right above it, and then we held it as support, right? We broke above that 78.6 fib extension, right? And we pulled back and held right above it beautifully, all right? Do we have a second level that's been honored so far? That 50% fib, right? Look at that 50% fib extension. We came right up to it this morning and rejected off of it to the penny. So it's safe to say that we can continue to utilize this Fibonacci extension to get an idea of where we can go. And the really nice thing about this extension is it lines up so well with other levels. The 38.2 lines up with the gap fill on the daily, right? If we go back to the daily chart, right? Keep in mind, that's a 38.2 extension level, 440.93. That's the price. $440.93 is our 38.2 extension. Okay, go back to the daily chart. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. What's right around that 38.2 extension, that 440.93. That was the low. That was the low from Friday, right? That's a potential gap fill area that we could get rejected on the daily before we start curling on over, right? So look at how well these levels are actually lining up with prices. It's just beautiful, right? I love it. It's beautiful. So with that being said, I'm really utilizing these fibs for my potential upcoming trades, right? I know that we have 50% Fibonacci extension resistance. If we double top off this level, grab some puts. If we break and hold above, I know we could see it up towards around 440.93 to fill that daily gap, right? I can take calls up to that level and maybe flip into some puts. But if we break above that 38.2 extension, your next level is going to be 23.6. Also happens to be prior support, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And that's where we broke below that level of support, right? So when we see breakout points, when stocks are breaking to the upside, those are demand zones, right? There was a lot of demand through that price to the upside, right? So again, we had a lot of demand to the downside through this level. That's when we really started getting hit hard on the SPY. So not only is it prior support, it is a point in which we broke out to the downside, and it's the 23.6 extension there on the SPY. So again, these levels are going to be levels that I'm really focused on, right? These are going to be levels that I'm really focused on. And when we start to see something set up at or near one of these key levels, we will be ready to attack the SPY. Whether that's calls, whether that's puts, we need to wait for the opportunity to present itself so we know we're on the right side of a big winning trade. I don't just want to scalp calls and puts, right? The VIX is up to 23, 24, right? We're starting to see the spreads open up a little bit. The IVs are being raised, right? The more volatility and the more movement we see on the SPY, the more the VIX is going to be and the harder it's going to be to trade options, right? Anybody trade options last year, February, March? How hard was it, right? How hard was it? It was pretty tough. Even talking to Matt, right? Even talking to Matt last night, it was damn near impossible to trade options last year, March, right? February, March, during that big sell-off, right? He was selling cash secured puts. So with that being said, we don't want to be in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Let's wait for the best of the best setup to be on the best move, the best trade for that big time profit, right? For that big time move. Again, whether that's calls or puts, that will be determined. But right now we're waiting for something to set up at or near one of these levels and we're ready to go, right? We're ready to go, right? We've seen that these levels have been honored. They honor other key technical levels of support and resistance. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. It doesn't get any easier or any nicer than that. So now we wait for the opportunity. And when the opportunity presents itself, we attack. Okay? So that's what I got for you guys. The SPY, right? We're watching the SPY. If the SPY's dumping, right? The SPY's crashing hard. And you're like, I don't want to buy puts. How do you get involved, right? When the SPY goes down, and let's say you don't trade options, guys. You just don't trade options. You're like, how do I take advantage when the market's dumping? You can go look at an inverse ETF. You can go look at UVXY, right? UVXY is an inverse ETF. When the market goes down, UVXY goes up. VXX, right? When the market goes down, VXX goes up. There are a lot of inverse ETFs out there, but these are the most popular and these are the ones that move the most when the market struggles the most. When the market moves down the most, these move up the most, right? VXX last year from $50 to $315. So during that time when the SPY dumped, right? Last February and March, right? VXX went from $50 to $315. Last February, March, when the SPY in the markets dumped, UVXY went from $94 to $1,300. That's that's 1,300%, right? So again, if you don't like puts, you don't like options, you don't trade in that space, that's okay. If the market continues to fall, right, you could go long on UVXY. It's only $26. It's not expensive at all. You can go long on VXX. So when the market's selling off, you could still be making money on these inverse ETFs, guys. Okay, so again, we're watching the SPY. I'm not watching Apple. I'm not watching AMC. I'm not watching AMD. I'm not watching Facebook. I'm not watching PayPal. Why? Because the volatility is with the overall market, right? You know, the focus is on the SPY, right? If the SPY goes down, the rest of the market is going to go down, right? I mean, look at, yes, like Apple's going to go down, PayPal's going to go down, Square. I mean, okay. Why even look at any of those? You're always going to be looking at the SPY, looking at the SPY, looking at the SPY, looking at the SPY. Might as well just focus on the SPY, in my opinion, right? Instead of me having to reflect the SPY before I make a trade and the SPY really determining the technicals on one of these other stocks, I'm just going to look at the SPY, right? Because if you see a great technical setup for a long position, right, on Apple, and the SPY cracks and starts falling, what's going to happen with Apple? Is it still going to work on out and move on up off that beautiful long setup? Probably not. It's probably going to turn on over and follow suit with the SPY. So why continue to look at your trade on Apple and always have to reflect the SPY? Might as well just bring the SPY over and just trade the SPY. You have 3 expirations per week. They're going to be less expensive. They're going to move quick. You're going to be able to make some great cash with the SPY calls and puts. I would just go ahead and focus on the SPY, guys. That would be my recommendation to you. All right. So again, this is my options watch list. That's it. The SPY, right? Watching UVXY and VXX, those inverse ETFs. That's all I'm doing today, guys. Keeping it simple, being smart, not overcomplicating it. Okay. And then as far as the top 2 stocks, again, if you guys are just now tuning in NVC number 1 out of the gate, and then HLBZ number 1 out of the gate too. So both of these stocks are going to be the top 2 stocks that I'm watching right when the market goes ding, ding, ding. All right, guys. So do we have any questions, comments, concerns as far as what we're looking at, why we're looking at it, and how we're preparing ourselves for this trading day? Frank, what's up? Good morning. What scanners do I use? Trade Ideas Pro. Trade Ideas. Jay, good morning. Big Daddy Russ is in the house. Ed, Taco Tuesday, Dave, Mark, Ed, Clint, what's up? Good morning. Everybody over on YouTube, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button. Go subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. It helps us out a lot. I appreciate you guys showing up and supporting the stream. Do me another huge favor. Take 5 to 10 seconds. Support us even more. And definitely go ahead and give this stream a like, guys. All right, we got 14 likes, 75 viewers. Go ahead and give the stream a like. Subscribe if you hadn't. Hit that beautiful notification bell. If you like the stream, you can share the stream as well, because guess what today is, guys? It's not only Taco Tuesday. It's Free Stream Tuesday, too. I know I got a little too hyped up right there. I got really hyped up. Not only Taco Tuesday, not only are we giving away a box of taco shells, it's Free Stream Tuesday, baby. Let's go. All right, guys. Give me 50 seconds. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I really got to go pee. All right? Get fired up. Get ready to go. We're going to crush it today, team. All right? Get fired up. When I come back, I want to see everybody hit me with a good morning. And let's get our day started. 1:30. Give me about 30 seconds. I'll be right back with you guys. All right? Let's do it, Skylar, Angel, Cole, Casey. What up? Good morning. Let's do it. Let's have fun, guys. Let's make some money. Let's make some good trades, make some good money. Yeah, my TD Ameritrade's frozen too on NNVC. Anybody else? NNVC shares halted pending news. Oof. All right, shares halted pending news. I should have looked down. Okay. So, let's see how that works out. Let's see how that plays on out, guys. So right now, HLBZ is the stock we're watching. HLBZ is the stock we are watching, guys. We don't know. Is it in the article on NNVC? Shares halted pending news. Shares halted pending news. I guess we can go dive into it. If you go to NASDAQ halt, you'd actually see approximately what time it would be going live if that information's out yet. So right now, we're just focused on HLBZ, guys. This is where our focus is right now, HLBZ. But yeah, my TD is just running a little slow and a little iffy today. Michael, yes, partner with Amazon, HLBZ, Amazon partnership. Shares double after Amazon deal for Italy, HLBZ. And right now, I'm obviously watching the SPY off to the side. Just keeping that on watch. We got rejected off that 50% extension. We have support back down at 433 on the SPY. So right now, wait the first 10, 15 minutes, kind of get an idea of what the SPY is looking like, and let's see if we have any opportunity for some awesome calls. I started my entries and I started my positions this morning in the crypto space, guys. Right? So Cardano, Ripple, Matic, ICP, Ethereum, right? I started getting my feet wet and started to dollar cost average into all of my cryptos, guys. And I'm going to continue to do that in the coming weeks as well. So I want to let you guys know I started that last night because crypto came down to one of my first levels that we were talking about yesterday, guys. So again, I went ahead and started getting my feet wet, started to dollar cost average in. I'm about 5 to 6% in right now, a little bit of a starter, and I'm probably going to finish up today with about 10% invested as I start to dollar cost average into a lot of these cryptos, guys. NNVC is halted pending news, guys. Halted pending news. Could be really, really good for the stock. Could be really, really bad for the stock. So right now, watching HLBZ above that 35, guys. I'm watching HLBZ above that 35 level for a possible little pop squeeze to the upside. I'm watching HLBZ above that 35 level, guys. That 35 level is a pretty key level on HLBZ from that Fibonacci extension that we were talking about this morning. Nice pop out of the gates. Trying to pull back with a nice little healthy decreasing volume pullback right into that 35 level. You have the UAP support at 34.35 as well. So you got a couple levels right here that could hold on up on HLBZ. And HLBZ said, nope, we're not going to pop off that level. Not today. We're going to keep coming down just a little bit. It was worth giving it a go. You said ATER is taken off early. ATER was one of our back burner plays. ATER still had some great opportunity and still had some great potential, guys, over on ATER. We had LPTX that had some good potential as well, guys. LPTX is starting to get some action towards it. What was the other one? CRVS? CRVS, nothing. So right now, out of those 3 back burners, right now we have LPTX trying to get some action towards it. And we do have ATER getting some nice action towards it as well. And again, your next target is right at that 1330, which we're actually hitting right now. 1330. Anything over 1330, guys, you're looking at 14. And then 1456 are going to be your next levels there on ATER. So right now I'm watching HLBZ to see if this one's actually going to hold that 35 and get a nice big rip off 35 bucks, guys. Right now HLBZ looking to see if we get a nice big pop off that 35 level. It's starting to get a nice little pop off 35 over 36. You got 36.10 on the bid, but it's up and down a lot, guys. It's very jumpy stock. HLBZ is a very jumpy stock. I mean, popping $1, $2 at a time. So again, this stock could definitely rip to the upside big time. This stock could dump to the downside big time as well. VRDN. VRDN right now, not doing anything. QS out of the gate, tried to pop there a little bit. Right now, looking a little iffy. BKYI, quick little pop out of the gate, looking a little iffy. CRVS, not really doing all that much. Not really doing all that much there on CRVS. ANY, quick little spike out of the gate, starting to fade. LCID, quick little pop out of the gate. So there's nothing really too much happening, guys. Nothing really popping on off right at the start of the day, guys. Right? The only thing that you still have, you know, trying to get some action towards it is HLBZ, but that's about it, guys. You know, you got HLBZ trying to hold up the VWAP, but it looks like it may crack and fall here. Got to sit back and see how that one's going to play on out. How's LPTX doing? LPTX, nice little pop out of the gates. Still need to wait for that one to set up. ATER needs to break over that that 1330, guys. Over 1330 here on ATER. This one has some nice room up towards around 14, and then 1456 on ATER. So the top 2 stocks right now, we have ATER, guys. All right, ATER, but a lot of resistance between 1330 and a lot of resistance between 1350 there on ATER. All right, but anything over the 1330 and 1350, we can see 14 and 1450 there on ATER. This one's trying to move on up. Obviously, NNBC still halted pending news. You got HLBZ trying to hold the VWAP. But the more touches, we may start to see it crack if it doesn't pop off the VWAP and get a nice little run to the upside. Again, we have room to 40. We have room to 46. We have room to $50 on HLBZ, but it's starting to look a little iffy right now over on HLBZ, starting to crack on down here a little bit. I'm going to throw CRVS back on the 5. It cracked that trend line just slightly, but it wasn't like a super clean trend line anyway. And we are holding above that pre-market level of support, right? That pre-market low right there was right around 530. That's where we came down here intraday on CRVS. So I still think CRVS is worth watching. Definitely think CRVS is still worth watching here to see if we can get some action. But right now, a lot of the other stocks that we were looking at, NNBC, one of the top two, right? Halted pending news. HLBZ, seeing a little bit of profit taking here at the start of the day. We do have support down towards around $30 here on HLBZ. So again, we have support down towards around $30 right now on HLBZ. And so right now, it's safe to say that ATER is going to be the one stock that we should focus on. ATER has a lot of nice attention towards it. Again, we do have some decent resistance overhead, so we got to be smart to lock in those profits quick as we're coming into those key levels of resistance before we see a lot of profit taking and the trade come right back down. So right now, HLBZ fading on off. NNBC currently halted pending news. Right now, we had a back burner play that was ATER. And ATER does have some decent attention towards it right now, team. Right now, 1330 light support, right? Nothing crazy, but 1330 light support. You have room to $14. You have room to $14.58. So even if you wanted to try and take advantage of ATER, which I don't recommend, it's a little risky. You'd be trying to scalp this. Your stops would have to be under 13. Your first target's at $14. Your second target's at $14.50. And then $15 there on ATER. VRDN, I do want to keep VRDN on watch. VRDN is a low float stock, 6 million in float here on VRDN. They announced the pricing of a public offering, shares of common stock, yada, yada, yada. But I like the formation that we're starting to form here. So I like this possible VWAP 9 EMA squeeze formation, and we do have some volume, some decent buying volume here on VRDN. So if we continue to kind of consolidate in between that 9 EMA and the VWAP, and we start to see this 9 EMA get tighter and tighter and tighter, closer to the VWAP and looking like it's going to start crossing, we could see VRDN going a quick spike to the upside, right? We could definitely see VRDN going a nice quick spike to the upside. So keep VRDN on high watch for that possible crossover, for that possible squeeze formation between, right, 9 EMA support, VWAP resistance. If we hold those levels, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of volume move through to get this up above the VWAP. Probably next target, the $15 and then $16 here on VRDN. So definitely want to be keeping that one on watch as well, team. So again, right now, there's really not all too much happening, right? There's really not all that much. Obviously, we know what's going on with ATER, guys, right? But ATER is, definitely not as consistent as I'd like to see. So right now, I'm sitting back on ATER. Right now, I'm still sitting back on HLBZ, waiting to see if this one can set back up for a possible, little move to the upside here. We can throw a nice little downtrend on the play. Let's see if we ever get a setup to possibly break out of this downtrend back to the upside here on HLBZ. Again, really good news. Low float play, number one on the leaderboard, currently up over 100% there on HLBZ. Up 128% right now. Again, we just talked about VRDN. QS just has a pretty nice downtrend here from pre-market. So again, something to just notate, something worth watching. If we start to set up, maybe we can see a nice little downtrend break play back up towards around like this highs at 23.85. Not a lot of big potential, but it could definitely move 50 to 80 cents there on QS. SEED was halted a second ago. What's up with SEED? Anything worth watching there? Collaboration news, Aura. So it looks like SEED and China Agriculture University to collaborate on research of molecular design of corn using. Okay, so there was some news there. Got a quick little pop, but I'm not able to hold on up there. You know, if the market doesn't start shaping up a little bit, right? Because, I mean, we're 15 minutes in. We saw a quick little spike on ATR, starting to fade a little bit. And this is kind of what we saw yesterday, guys, right? The first 15, 30 minutes, we had some decent opportunity in the market, right? We had some decent opportunity. Quick little spikes, but then around 10 o'clock, things started fading. And there was not a lot of opportunity for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and there still wasn't a lot. So with that being said, if we come into around 10 to 10:15 and there's not a lot of hot opportunity in the market, guys, right? And it's kind of like just bland and boring in the market, not a lot of good opportunity, we'll save the free stream for another day, right? The last thing I want to do is sit here and just stare, right, at nothing and have no opportunity for some profits, guys. And that's kind of like what we saw yesterday. In the market, right? The first, 15, 30 minutes was hot. There was a lot of great opportunity, but then everything just started fading on off. And that was that. So still watching HLBZ. I'm just curious to see if it's inside a little bit of a falling wedge formation. Right, just looking to see if this isn't a little bit of a falling wedge formation here on HLBZ. If so, we can definitely start to see some action with HLBZ getting this one back up over 35, up towards around $39. So right now, watching HLBZ to see if it's inside of this nice little falling wedge. If we start to see it breaking out of this wedge formation above this downtrend, I could definitely see some nice volume moving in back up to 35. Back up towards around 37.50, 38.80, and then $40 here on HLBZ. The SPY is actually starting to move on up here a little bit, guys. So first 5-minute candle red, breaking over the open there on the SPY. You do have that level of resistance right around 438.64. So we'll be watching SPY over the next 5 to 10 minutes. If this one starts setting up, maybe we have some opportunity for some calls or puts for some options here and make some money over on the SPY. As penny stocks are just a little bit on the slower side. There's VRDN's quick little squeeze between the VWAP and that 9 EMA. So it already popped up about 75-ish cents there for a quick little pop to the upside. They're on VRDN. We were just talking about that one a second ago. HLBZ, again, inside of this little bit of a wedge formation. I just jumped in with about 25 shares, guys. I jumped in again with about 25 shares. We saw that volume pop, starting to break this downtrend. HLBZ has a good press release. There's not a lot of other things really ripping and running. Obviously, we just saw some initial profit taking here on HLBZ this morning. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and just jump in with 25 shares real quick and see if we get some action here on HLBZ out of this wedge formation, right? Nice little falling wedge, starting to see some nice volume move back in, breaking out of this downtrend, starting to see it move up to the upside just a little bit. Got to get above that 9 EMA, but overall, falling wedges are 80-20 setups to the long side, right? When we see a falling wedge, 80% of the time, it will break to the upside out of that wedge and rip back higher. So again, we know we have a $35 target. We could see it up at $37.50. We could see it up towards around $38.80 and maybe even $40 if we really get these buyers to step behind HLBZ and get this thing going out of this falling wedge. And stops would have to be at 31.50. So I'd have to put stops right underneath that low. And I have to go with like a 31.30 stop. That's okay. I'll go with a 31.30 stop on this one. So we'll go stop. We'll go 31.30. Stop loss HLBZ sell. Boom. 31.30. Hands are off the trigger. Again, I'm in at 32.73. 31.30 is the stop out, which is right underneath this low. Giving it a little bit of breathing room, but again, it's right underneath this intraday low. So if it comes down and puts in a new intraday low, it'll probably fade and fall to 30. But I wanted to give it a shot out of this falling wedge formation to see if we can get some action here on HLBZ. So let's see. Maybe now it can hold like a double bottom, or it's going to continue to come down and just move lower. If that's the case, there was one. This would be the second decent setup that I've taken on HLBZ that hasn't worked on out. So I'd probably just change my approach with HLBZ. You know, if it continues to crack these levels of support and buyers aren't stepping in, it may just be a short play for the day. Maybe not be a great candidate for the small account challenge. But right now, let's see. I mean, from 32, we got a lot of nice room to the upside. HLBZ looking like it's going to crack. Look at that, cracking. You know what, HLBZ? You've had a couple decent little setups. Big pop out of the gate, decreasing volume pullback, respecting the VWAP, respecting 35. We see the volume move in. Sellers take control. Forms a nice wedge formation. We have a nice candle, right? Good volume, off support, right through that downtrend. We see buyers try and get it going. Sellers step back in and say, you know what? We're in control today, guys. So right now I'm down. I'm down about 127 bucks on HLBZ. I had a little winner on NNVC. Nothing crazy, but so far for the day, I'm down just a slight tad bit on HLBZ. I was trying to nail the little break out of that wedge there. So right now, again, if we don't see anything really starting to shape on up, probably in the next 7 minutes, guys, right? We'll probably save the free stream for another day, but right now we do have ATER still pretty steady, still pretty consistent. We know our levels, right? Support back down at 13, $14 resistance, $14.50, and then $15 resistance there on ATER. Nice little uptrend, right? Nice little uptrend. You can catch the higher low off the uptrend for the next leg up towards around 14 and then 14.50 there on ATER. This one has a lot of great potential to the upside again today, guys. There was your nice setup on QS. I know Casey probably took that one. Casey was looking at QS. Nice 4th point break off a higher low there on QS. Nice little pop to the upside there. Yeah, BKYI inside of this this little bit of a channel from pre-market. Top channel resistance right around 358 here on BKYI, right? You got resistance here, resistance, resistance. You're definitely seeing traders respect that as resistance again, and you have the VWAP. Bottom channel support at 333. Cracking below the bottom part of the channel, you'll probably see it fade to 320 and then 310 there on BKYI. Breaking above that 358, the VWAP, the top part of this channel, we do have room back up towards around $4 on BKYI. You know what, Yared, right now, I mean, there's some good stocks. There's good setups. There's definitely things moving. If you're thinking of like a $2, $3, $4 stock that has great potential right now, I'm not really seeing a lot, right? ATER 1350 right off the trend line. Again, it has room to 14.50, and then $15 on ATER. This is probably the only decent setup that we currently have. NNVC still halted. Now HLBZ decides to go. I should have let it breathe just a little bit more. Yeah, if I would have given it just a little bit more breathing room, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. HLBZ now starting to get that nice little bounce. Broke out of the wedge. Definitely stopped a few traders out. I was one of them right underneath that low, and now it's starting to get some action towards it. That's unfortunate, but hey, it happens. Just had my stop a little too tight there. Just had my stop loss of, maybe 20 cents too tight. So SLDB has resistance at 336. Then up towards around 360. And then it has a lot of room over $4 here on SLDB. We can see intraday support right there around 312. So how long is NNVC halted? Let's see if they've dropped anything about when it should be going live. Let's go see real quick if they have anything out on NNVC. Pending news, 950 it says? No. Okay, well it does say, oh, that was NOTV. So right now, NNVC, right, halt time, looks like at 9:21. News pending, no resumption time. So right now there is not a resumption time on NNVC, on NASDAQ's, the NYSE website. And that was the link I was getting ready to post up there. Thank you. So, yep, no resumption time right now on NNVC. So we'll have to just sit back and see what happens. Let's do this. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote over on YouTube. Do you guys want to save the stream for tomorrow? Maybe we have a better Wednesday, right? Maybe we have a better Wednesday in the market, better opportunity, right? Because right now, I'm kind of just going to be sitting back on the sidelines, guys. Not really enjoying the price action. Not really liking the setups. Not really digging the market, to be completely honest with you, just the way things are moving. Now, things are moving, right? There's some opportunity out there. But as far as small account opportunity, in this market, for me, I'm a scalper all day. I want to scalp some of these price movements. So with that being said, let's take a vote. Do we want to go ahead and do the free stream Tuesday? Or maybe we do our free stream tomorrow, maybe seeing the market shape back up a little bit. Maybe we have some more heat, some more opportunity, and some more action in the market, and maybe save our free stream for a better day. Completely up to you guys. Oh, everybody's saying tomorrow. Everybody's like, tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, it's only a day away. All right, tomorrow it is, guys. Tomorrow it is. All right, sounds good. Again, you guys definitely need to be watching HLBZ. HLBZ still has a lot of potential. Just a little choppy so far, right? Right here, decent little setup, choppy. Right here, good setup, choppy, and then it starts moving. So again, I'm going to be a little bit more patient with HLBZ, right? Look for these good setups. Look to see if they chop out a little bit, and then if they start moving, then look to attack, then look to jump in. Wait for it to chop around a little bit first, because again, that was a pretty decent pop. Pull back into the 35, right? Nice decreased volume. Looking for that rebound. Nothing happened. It failed. Right? Nice little falling wedge formation. Broke out of the wedge with volume confirmation. I mean, the right trade, making the entry. Stops underneath the low. Comes down. Chops me out. Right? Gets me out of my position. Boop. Takes it right back to the upside. So, we'll just, again, the market's, definitely been a little choppy since yesterday. We definitely see a little bit of chop. Not as bad as yesterday, just a little bit. So one of those things that it's going to make me a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more patient with my executions on my trades, just to make sure that I'm avoiding some of that choppiness. So everybody said tomorrow. All right, everybody. Eric, Frank, Ed, Nell, Mike, Gerald, Yusuf, Dwayne, George, Clint, Dave, Levi, everybody over on YouTube. Have an awesome Tuesday. Be smart. Be safe out here, guys. All right? Trade only the best trades. That's your mindset. Taking the best of the best trades, that money will follow, guys. All right? So be smart, be safe. Have an awesome trading day, and I'll see each and every one of you back here bright and early tomorrow morning for our free stream right around 9 o'clock, guys. Have an awesome Taco Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.